One rank, one pension, a huge announcement by the government today. The government believes it's a huge step forward in fulfilling a promise that it has made several months back to the ex-servicemen community. But is this good enough? The agitation at Jantar Mantar, which has been on now for more than 80 days, continues. Joining us to look at this, the former Army Chief, General V.P. Malik. We're also joined by Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who's been a key negotiator in this process, Sambit Patra of the BJP, Ajoy Kumar of the Congress Party, and Wing Commander Vinod Neb. He's one of the protesters over there. He's also a Veer Chakra 2 times over in the 65 and 71 ward. General Malik, to you first. The government says it's taken a bold decision considering the economic situation around the world. They have given 8,000 to 10,000 crores plus another 10 to 12,000 crores. They believe it's the right decision. Have they done enough? General Malik.
Vishnu, there is no doubt that the government has taken a huge leap forward from the time that I was a mediator along with Rajiv Chandrasekhar. And in these last 22 days, they have indeed come far forward to be able to meet the requirements, the desire and the demands of the people who are veterans who are on the agitation. But I was hoping that this 43-year-old injustice that has been done to the service personnel, it would end amicably, and they would be sort of exchanging sweets with each other, and the whole thing will be settled amicably in great harmony and all. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to have happened because there has been some lack of clarity. I would also say some lack of transparency, and the government seems to have, after taking the leap, checked itself on a few important points of implementation. I wish they had been able to sort that out also, and that would have satisfied everyone, including me.
Okay.
So that is my reservation, but there are a few points of disagreement which we can discuss further as we go further.
Sambit, 6 of 7 points have been rejected by the veterans. They are now going to continue with their agitation. What are you going to do to persuade them to stop?
No, Vishnu, definitely it's a democratic country, it's a democratic government. Veterans are very respectable, and I can assure that the government will rightly take the right steps to assure our veterans and will reach out for them. But what I see as far as the OROP is concerned is quite different and in a very positive light. And why I call it a historic day is, right way back from 1973, as the Army Chief Mr. Malik was pointing out right now, that there has been a substantial change. In 1973, the pensions were brought down from 70% to 50% by Indira Gandhi, and that's the time when the OROP battle had begun. All governments subsequently had refused the allocation of OROP to the extent where one of the finance minister of the UPA had used the terms administratively, technically and financially. The one rank, one pension is not implementable. From not implementable to a big yes. I believe it's a very positive
but a big
change.
Yes for who?
If you would remember,
a big yes for the government,
about 1,300.
A big yes for the government in terms of the financial outlay, no
that's
doubt.
What I'm saying.
But it's not a big yes for the protesters.
No. That's what I'm going to speak right now. I mean, what the Koshyari committee was saying was 1,300 crore rupees. Then it said that 1,000 has already been given. So effectively 235 crore rupees has to be given by the government. The Congress at the fag end of the last government on February 2000.
They had allotted 500 crores, it was not enough. I know, Sambit, the central argument of the BJP, if I understand correctly, is that you made a massive allotment.
When you are saying as to who, it's a big yes for whom? When you are saying a big yes for whom, that's what I'm answering. From 500 crores to 8,000 to 9,000 crores per annum, presently, it's a big leap. I mean, if 25% to 30% of pension is what is going to be increased to every pensioner, every ex-serviceman, it's a big leap.
Okay, Wing Commander Neb disagrees with you. Wing Commander, go ahead with why are you going to continue with your agitation? Your pension would go up substantially. The pension of widows, war widows, that would go up substantially. Why are you still going to continue?
Vishnu, the very first point, 40% will be straightway are happy from the figure which has been shown by these people that the 80% are going to be happy. I'll tell you how. 40% people they take premature retirement after having qualified their pension because they get superseded or whatever the reason may be. So this lot is going to be unhappy because they are out of the OROP.
No, sir.
One.
Wing Commander, important clarification on this issue, and this affects you directly because you also had taken voluntary retirement from the Air Force because you were unwell, you had a heart condition, and the news is this: government sources are now telling us that this is not going to be retrospectively implemented. In other words, those who have retired who on voluntary grounds, they will get the benefits of OROP. Those retiring from here onwards will not get the benefits of OROP. So that's a big distinction over there. Does that make you feel better, Wing Commander?
Yes, it does, but all the same, the point remains that we have a pyramid structure.
Okay.
We don't have a structure like these IAS officers, which is almost parallel. And they have a system of NFU, which is as good as OROP for them. So how could you justify this? I think this is really retro step because the person has been superseded for want of vacancy
Vishnu, I need
because
to
the
come back.
structure is such.
You know, look, it's a very elementary thing, and I don't know why and how the Ministry of Defense has missed this point. Let's face it, that after a person has got got over his pensionable service, there are a large number of people, because they cannot go up in the hierarchy, they decide to retire prematurely and look for other avenues. Now, this, once you have accepted this principle and people have already acquired pensionable service, how can you not put them in the ambit of OROP? You cannot discriminate these people. The government has talked about people who have been wounded, people who have medically unfit and all that. I believe that anyone who has acquired pensionable service and he is now due to get his pensionable, because he cannot go up and he decides to go for other avenues, fresh avenues, you cannot stop him from
That's an important point, General.
coming into the
General,
ambit
that's an
of,
important point.
I
I
think
want
this
to
is a
ask
major
Rajiv-
lacuna which has come about.
Sure. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, I want to come to you. I wanted to ask you this. Even if this particular point on voluntary retirement is implemented in the future and is not implemented now, there could well be a scenario where you've got disgruntled officers and other ranks who are not leaving the service to find another job because they realize by doing so they would forego the OROP benefits, and therefore they continue to occupy one post. In the officer cadre, for example, in the Army, Air Force, Navy, every post is worth its weight in gold because posts are few because of the hierarchical structure. So one person could well be denied a possibility of getting that post because it's being occupied by a person who has no option but to hang on to it, because if they leave, they lose their benefits. Isn't this a problem?
No, and I said this early in the day when I started hearing some signs of this VRS condition in the OROP, that it was not a good idea to introduce this into OROP, because the basic principle of OROP is not to distort the overall structure of the armed forces. If you bring in a condition like this, you are ending up, whatever be the great thought behind it, you are in a sense creating haves and have-nots, and you are creating a distortion in the natural progression within the armed forces structure. So I think this is an afterthought, because in all of the weeks of negotiation and discussion, I never heard a mention of this at all, and this was almost like snuck up on us from somewhere that I don't know quite where. And I agree with General Malik that this is really not something that is desirable as we seek to correct the 40 years of distortions in the armed forces and the veterans pension model. This is probably not a good idea in any case. But today's clarification from the MOD that says this is a prospective thing, I think even that they have to carefully examine and understand the implications of that before they go ahead and implement it. It's good that they have said that the existing pensioners are out of it, but even if they seek to impose this on future pensioners, I would urge this one-man commission to examine it in detail before it actually becomes a reality.
Okay, let me go across to Ajoy Kumar of the Congress. Ajoy, without making it a Congress versus BJP,
a principle.
General, can I come back
Vishnu,
to you?
it is a Vishnu.
Yes.
May I say?
Yes,
Look,
go ahead, General.
I just want on this point only. All I want to say is that look, here is a principle, and that principle will continue to be applicable. It doesn't matter any pay commission or anything happens. You cannot violate this kind of a principle, because you land up in total, disharmony amongst the service people, people who have got it and people who will not get it.
Ajay Kumar, without getting into a Congress versus BJP slanging match, which often happens particularly on this issue, is there anything about OROP, one rank, one pension, which you feel is good, which you feel is bad, which needs to be revised?
Look, one is the definition which was agreed, Vishnu. The definition after 3 years, 2011 to 2014, the parliament in which the Bharatiya Janata Party was also in that parliament, they were the major opposition party. Everybody agreed on the definition. The present announcement sounds like a pension enhancement, which has been happening not significantly before 2004, but between 2004 to 2014, around 7,500 crores were done to increase the pension, but that wasn't OROP. So if you're announcing this 10,000, 12,000 crores as OROP, and actually giving 5 years as a rationalization, keeping 46% of the people out of it, because the term VRS itself is often
no, but Ajay, that's been clarified. Ajay, that's been clarified.
The defense forces is a...
Ajay, that's been clarified.
Yeah.
It's not retrospective,
like
it's prospective.
No, one sec. So Vishnu, General Malik correctly said that it... But even prospective, the army is forever. You see, the defense forces are forever. So the question is, okay, we have people who are unhappy now. So look, Vishnu, we are not talking about armed forces for today. We are talking about tomorrow, day after, people who join in future. So I don't think that definition should have ever been played at.